All right, ready to dive in. Today, we're looking at delivered merch.
Oh,
They're
interesting.
making some real moves in the print-on-demand world, and we're going to figure out what they're all about.
Sounds good.
We've got a few sources to work with, their TikTok, their Threadless shop,
Okay.
and even a YouTube video all about print-on-demand trends.
Cool. So what's the plan? What are we hoping to learn about delivered merch?
Basically, we want to know how they tick, what are they selling, what's their style like, and how are they using all these different platforms.
In.
Cool. So let's start with their TikTok.
All right.
So their follower count is only 407.
That's not a lot.
Right. Especially when you see who TikTok is recommending. Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran, all the big names.
That's a good point. So how do they compete? How do they get noticed in a space that's already so crowded?
That's what I'm wondering too.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're going for a cross-platform approach. They're
Yeah.
promoting their Redbubble and Threadless shops right on TikTok.
That makes sense. Cast a wider net, right? Reach as many people as possible.
Exactly. And speaking of their Threadless shop, have you seen the range of products they offer?
No, tell me more.
It's wild. Apparel, home decor, even skateboards and shower curtains.
Wow, that's a lot of variety.
Seriously, could you imagine designing your own shower curtain? Maybe with some funny pattern or like a weird inside joke with your friends?
Yeah.
Delivered merch makes that happen.
It all comes back to print on demand, right? That whole model is just exploding in popularity.
Totally. And no huge upfront costs for inventory either. It's all about that freedom to create unique stuff.
Yeah, makes total sense.
Their YouTube video actually dives deep into why print on demand, or POD, is becoming such a big deal.
Interesting. What does it say?
Well, the video emphasizes that personalization is huge.
Makes sense.
People want custom products that reflect their, their unique personality.
Their individuality.
Yeah, exactly. And delivered merch's designs seem like they fit right into that.
How so?
Well, they've got these funny animal prints, bold graphics, the kind of stuff that just screams, "This is me."
Right, it's about self-expression.
Yes, it's not just about having a cool design, it's about making a statement, showing who you are.
Especially in a world that can feel so, homogenous. People want to stand out.
Totally. And the video also mentions sustainability.
Oh, that's interesting.
There's this growing demand for eco-friendly everything.
For sure.
Materials, processes, the whole nine yards. Whether delivered merch is totally on board with that, that's something we'll have to dig into.
It's a big question for the whole industry, really.
Yeah.
Can print on demand be both creative and conscious?
Exactly. It's a challenge.
Absolutely.
Okay, ready for this? The next trend is AI and machine learning.
Oh, wow. Now we're talking.
I know, right? Sounds super futuristic,
A little bit.
but the video says it's already happening.
Really?
Yeah, like algorithms that automate designs, personalized recommendations. They can even predict future trends.
So, imagine AI is looking at your browsing history, what you like on social media, what you've bought before, and then it recommends products that fit your taste perfectly.
Mind-blowing, right?
Totally, or even crazier. Imagine AI helping you design your own products,
Like how?
suggesting patterns, color palettes, even layouts based on what it knows about you.
It'd be like having a personal design assistant.
Exactly.
That would be a game changer.
So especially for people who aren't, naturally artistic.
Oh, absolutely, like me.
Mm.
So AI is taking personalization to a whole new level.
For sure.
What else is going on in the print-on-demand world?
Well, aside from AI, there's the rise of e-commerce, obviously,
Right, yeah.
and the power of social media marketing. These two things are basically creating this, hyper-connected marketplace
I see what you mean.
where creators can connect directly with customers,
Makes sense.
build communities around their products.
Right, which brings us to collaboration.
Aha!
The video mentioned how POD companies could partner up with influencers and artists.
Interesting. Do you think delivered merch would do that?
I don't know, but could you imagine?
Yeah.
Them teaming up with up-and-coming designers, giving them a platform to showcase their work.
That's a cool idea.
It'd be a win-win, right? The artists get more exposure, delivered merch gets fresh designs.
And customers get even more unique products to choose from.
Exactly. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take a closer look at what delivered merch is actually offering right now.
Good idea.
Back to their Threadless shop we go.
All right.
A few designs really caught my eye. There's this one called Harlequin Cat. It's like a super cool, almost geometric take on a cat.
I like it.
Yeah. And then there's Funny Dog, all goofy grins and playful energy.
Cute.
And we can't forget the hummingbird.
Oh, yeah. What's that one like?
It has these vibrant, almost abstract wings. Really beautiful.
So what do you think all these designs tell us about delivered merch? What are they going for? Cute? Edgy?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. It's like each design is a little clue, and we have to put the puzzle together.
Right.
They're not afraid to experiment either.
What do you mean?
They've got a Far East collection with some really beautiful wall art. It feels like they're constantly exploring,
That's interesting.
trying to find that sweet spot where creativity meets what customers actually want.
I see what you mean. It's like they're building their own little brand world.
Yeah.
Right? And each design is like a building block.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
And if we're thinking about where they could go next, that YouTube video gave us some pretty good clues.
It did. What
Yeah.
stood out to you? What could be their next move?
Well, they could really double down on that whole personalization thing.
How so?
Imagine if they had customizable templates
Ooh, okay.
where you could add your own text,
I see where you're going with this.
photos, jokes, whatever you want.
Like they're giving you the basic design, and you get to make it your own.
Exactly. And this is where AI could come in.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about that before.
Imagine AI tools that suggest layouts, color palettes,
Okay.
maybe even generate unique artwork based on your preferences.
So you're not just picking from pre-made designs anymore. You're actually co-creating a product with AI,
It would make print on demand accessible to everyone.
even if you can't draw.
Yeah, exactly. And it kind of blurs the lines between creator and consumer.
I never thought about it that way.
You're not just buying something, you're part of the creative process.
That's deep.
right.
What about those collaborations the video talked about? Partnerships with artists and influencers.
I think that could be huge for them.
Really?
Absolutely. It's a way to stand out in a market that's getting more and more crowded.
Correct.
Imagine them working with up-and-coming designers, giving them a platform.
It benefits everyone.
Exactly. It's a mutually beneficial relationship.
The artists get exposure. Delivered merch gets fresh designs.
And customers get even more unique products to choose from.
Yeah. It's like building a community around their brand.
Exactly. And there's a storytelling element there, too.
How so?
Each collaboration could have its own little story behind it, a glimpse into how it came about.
It adds a whole other layer to the product.
Right. It's not just about the thing itself anymore.
And speaking of stories, we can't forget about sustainability.
Right. How do you see delivered merch handling that, the demand for eco-conscious products?
It's a big question.
It's a big one for everyone these days.
I think consumers are really starting to pay attention to where their money is going.
For sure.
They want to support brands that share their values,
Mm-hmm.
and sustainability is definitely a big one.
Absolutely. It's not enough to just have a cool product anymore.
Right. You need to be transparent,
Show that you're making responsible choices.
like environmentally responsible.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about personalization, AI, collaborations, sustainability.
It's a lot.
It is. But let's zoom out for a second.
Okay.
Where do you see the whole print-on-demand industry going in the next few years?
I think we're going to see even more growth, for sure.
Driven by.
Advancements in technology, people wanting more customization,
Okay.
and e-commerce just keeps getting bigger.
Print-on-demand isn't some niche thing anymore.
Definitely not. It's becoming mainstream.
It makes you wonder how all this is going to affect traditional retail.
Yeah. Will those brick and mortar stores even survive?
Or will they have to adapt somehow?
I think we'll see a mix of both.
What do you mean?
Some will struggle, some will find ways to incorporate print on demand.
Like offering customization in-store?
Right. Or partnering with online platforms to reach more people.
It's like the whole retail landscape is being reshaped.
Yeah, it's a big shift.
And print-on-demand is right at the center of it.
Absolutely. It's changing how we buy, what we buy.
Even who we buy from.
And as this all keeps evolving, it raises some interesting questions.
Like what?
What about intellectual property rights?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
If anyone can create and sell designs, how do we protect those rights?
Makes you think.
And what about ethical production? How do we make sure things are being made responsibly in a system that's so decentralized?
Those are big challenges.
They are, but they're challenges the industry will have to figure out.
It's an interesting time to be following all this.
Very interesting.
So we've got a rapidly evolving industry, a company like Delivered Merch doing their thing,
Right?
and so many different paths they could take.
It's exciting.
What are the key takeaways here? What do we want our listeners to walk away with?
I think the biggest takeaway is that delivered merch is like a little window into a much bigger change.
Okay.
A change in how we consume, how we create.
And it's happening right now.
Personalization, sustainability, technology, those are the forces that are shaping the future.
And Delivered Merch is showing us how companies can navigate all of that.
Exactly.
So if you want to understand where retail is going,
Keep an eye on companies like Delivered Merch,
they're not just selling stuff, they're experimenting,
testing new ideas.
pushing the boundaries.
And who knows, maybe some of our listeners will be inspired to start their own print-on-demand ventures.
It's definitely possible.
The barriers to entry are lower than ever.
And the possibilities are endless. Speaking of possibilities, let's take another look at what Delivered Merch is offering right now.
Okay.
We talked about the Harlequin cat, the funny dog,
Right.
the hummingbird,
Right.
but there are a few other designs I wanted to mention.
What caught your eye?
There's one called Two Royal Cats.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's got these two majestic cats, almost like, like symbols you'd see on a coat of arms.
Interesting.
Really intricate details, bold colors. It's different from their other, more whimsical designs.
So they're branching out a bit?
Yeah, maybe trying to appeal to different tastes.
It's a good strategy, especially if they want to grow their customer base.
It shows that they're versatile.
And it highlights another cool thing about print on demand.
What's that?
The ability to experiment and adapt quickly.
Okay.
Delivered Merch can try out different designs,
See what works.
adjust their offerings based on what customers respond to.
That's a level of flexibility you don't really see in traditional retail.
No, you don't.
So they're playing with different styles, embracing personalization, maybe even AI and collaborations down the line.
It sounds like they're really trying to make a name for themselves.
They're definitely a company to watch.
Yeah, who knows what they'll come up with next.
That's what's so exciting, right? The future is wide open,
It is.
and companies like Delivered Merch are helping us write the next chapter.
And as we move forward,
We, the consumers, have a role to play too.
right, our choices matter.
What we buy, how we buy it, who we support, all of that shapes the direction of the industry.
So let's be mindful.
Thoughtful.
Serious.
Exactly. That's it for our deep dive into Delivered Merch and the world of print on demand. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep exploring. All right, welcome back to our deep dive into Delivered Merch.
It's been a fascinating journey, hasn't it? Exploring this company and the whole print-on-demand landscape.
It really has. We've covered a lot of ground, from their TikTok presence to those really unique designs they've got on Threadless,
Right. And we even talked about some pretty big ideas for their future.
like using AI in their design process, collaborating with artists.
And embracing sustainability. It's all on the table.
Delivered Merch is like a microcosm of the entire print-on-demand industry, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. They're experimenting, testing new things, giving us a glimpse of what's possible,
It's like they're pioneers, forging a new path.
and paving the way for others to follow. They're not just selling products, they're shaping a movement.
A movement built on individual expression and creative freedom.
Exactly. Consumers are no longer just buying what's put in front of them. They're co-creating, customizing, making things truly their own.
It's like the ultimate design your own experience.
Right, for everything. And that brings us to our final question for you, our listeners. If everyone can design and sell custom products, what happens to the idea of brands as we know them?
Wow, that's a big one.
It is, isn't it? Will we see a rise of these, micro brands, each catering to very specific interests?
Maybe the lines between creator and consumer will blur even more.
And how will traditional brands adapt to all this?
It's a lot to think about, but one thing's for sure. The way we buy and sell is changing,
Rapidly.
and Delivered Merch is right there at the forefront of that change.
So as we wrap up our deep dive,
We want you to keep those questions in mind. What role do you want to play in all of this?
will you be a mindful consumer, a thoughtful creator, or maybe even a pioneer yourself?
The possibilities are endless, and the future is yours to shape.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
And until next time, happy exploring.